Welcome to Channel 18 News. I'm Jim Rogers. When Gumby police stopped and arrested Marty Lee Kays, age 43, of Silver Springs, for possession of drug paraphernalia, Hopkins County investigator Wade Sheets and Silver Springs Police Department Lieutenant Mark Estes interviewed Kays. During the interview, Kays admitted to having methamphetamine on his person and in his residence. On his person, they found 3 baggies weighing approximately 6.2 grams, including packaging, and in his residence, in a consent search, they found 1.2 grams of meth. Kays is in Hopkins County Jail, charged with possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, more than 4 grams but less than 200 grams, and with possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, more than 1 gram but less than 4 grams. He's being held on bonds totaling $80,000. A Hopkins County deputy responded to a disturbance on County Road 4762 regarding a threat by Danny Dale Hill, age 53, to kill the caller with a hammer. When they arrived, it was found that Hill had left the location in a vehicle. According to the victim's story, Hill had chased the victim into the bedroom and threatened him with the hammer raised to strike. That's when she called 911. The victim said she had picked up a handgun to protect herself due to being in fear of her life. According to the victim, Hill threw the hammer to the floor and fled the scene in his truck. He was later apprehended by the Department of Public Safety. Hill is in Hopkins County Jail, charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, family violence. He's being held on a $70,000 bond. A Springfield, Illinois couple is in Hopkins County Jail after fleeing a Hopkins County deputy during a traffic stop on Interstate 30. The stop was made at milepost 142. Stopped for speeding, the driver of the auto, Tommy Jason Lovelace, age 36, denied consent to search the vehicle. The officer then made contact with the passenger of the vehicle and asked the passenger to step out of the vehicle. The vehicle, a 2014 Chevrolet Impala. That's when the problem began. The passenger, Tony Nicole Jarrett, age 25, rolled up the passenger window and unbuckled the seatbelt, holding a 4-year-old child. She placed the child in the floor of the vehicle. The passenger then became the driver and fled the scene. As Jarrett fled in the vehicle, Lovelace stood in front of the deputy's patrol unit as he attempted to give chase. Lovelace failed to comply with commands to move out of the way and hindered the deputy's opportunity to pursue Jarrett. Lovelace was arrested at the scene, and Jarrett was later arrested at Texas Highway 37 and County Road Southwest 3070. Lovelace was arrested for evading arrest, detention with a vehicle, and hindering apprehension for prosecution. Jarrett was arrested for evading arrest, detention with a vehicle, and abandoning an endangered child. The grand opening of the new courtroom at the Law Enforcement Center took place Wednesday morning, with ceremonies squeezed in between plea bargains and docket call. At 11 a.m., Hopkins County Judge Robert Newsom welcomed the packed courtroom of county officials, community leaders, and members of the public who were present.
I want you to note something. Can you hear me in the back fine?
Yes.
See, that's awesome. Because our big courtroom is challenged because it was built in 1895, and here we have a new courtroom where you can hear right fine from the back because of the good soundboards we have and a lot of electronics that are set up here, and it's going to be a very practical, as you can see. Actually, we do have plans for some rugs here. A little, some carpet will be put in the next couple of weeks, actually, so it's not quite as Spartan as it might have been. But we, this is a very practical courtroom, and Hopkins County has a courtroom that is very usable, practical, and yet modern. I want to, in just a moment, introduce to you Will Ramsey. If you'll come up, Will, our district attorney. Would you all give him a hand, please?
Yeah, thank you everyone for being here, and we're very excited. I know my office is, and the clerk's office, and ready to get to work in this building. And just thank you for everything you do in the community. Thank you the folks that built this, and Tom for not leaving in the middle of this. I know, but thank you. I know from our office's perspective, just thank you to Hopkins County and the commissioners and all the work they've done in this and given us a good space to hopefully achieve justice,
Yeah.
Sheriff. So that's what we're all about, and thank you all just for the community Hopkins County is a pretty amazing place. It really is. So we hope we do good things and good work and the right thing in this courtroom. That's what it's all about. So thank you all for being here.
I'd like to Judge Northcutt to come up, if you will, please, and say a couple of words.
It's a great turnout. Appreciate you being here. I want to thank the county commissioners for having the vision to be able to do this, to give us something that is really modern and in step with the 21st century. We actually had court this morning, and literally in just a few moments, once the ribbon cutting is over, we're going to have our first plea hearing here at the bench in this new courtroom. We have a sentencing hearing this afternoon, so we literally are ready to get to work. You'll notice we don't have the sound system used right here, but it's absolutely incredible. We've got great technology for viewing in the day and time in which we live. There's a lot of video, a lot of audio. You can even display photographs there instead of the old way where Mr. Ramsey would hold the picture and then walk like this in front of the jury box. He doesn't have to do that anymore. We've got a video there for the folks out in the gallery. They've got that. The jury has their own small one that they can look there as well. A great jury room back here. This is going to be and of course, great access to the jail when we're dealing with individuals who are incarcerated at the time that we take their case up. So my appreciation to Tom for really trying to attend to the needs and of what we do in here every single day, and to Judge Newsom, who of course preceded me in this fashion, so he kind of knows what is needed, and this was actually a long time dream of his. I remember him sketching this out on a napkin when he was the district judge, something that would work and be very functional as an everyday courtroom. And so he's been able to, because of the good stewardship of the Commissioner's Court in building the jail, that's why some of these funds were available to get this building built so that we could have a very efficient court system. So thank you all for coming out.
Thank you, Judge. I forgot about the napkin, but you know what? That's really true. The first time we drew it up, it was on a napkin, and here we are today, this 10 years later. I'd like to introduce you. They keep talking about this guy named Tom Glossop. So Tom, would you stand up real? He's our project manager. And then our construction, actually the construction man, and this is Lynn Petty, and he built all this. And thank you so much. Excellent work, and they were very patient. Judge Northcutt, as well as Will Ramsey, at times came in and said, we need to adjust this, we need to adjust this, and thank y'all for working with us so well, because it is, again, a very useful courtroom, more useful perhaps than anyone I've ever been in. So I'm very excited about it, right here next to the jail where this public safety is greatly enhanced, and also it'll just do justice with our inmates as well as all our criminal. And there'll be some civil, I'm sure, heard down here, but for the most part, this is going to be our criminal courtroom. All right, now, I also need to have from our state representative, Dan Flynn's office, would you come up, please?
You want to do the senators first?
I'll do this after.
Okay,
Here, let me help you.
that's okay. I'm with State Representative Dan Flynn's office. He's sorry he couldn't be here today, but he's in Austin and they're having a very busy session right now. So I'm representing him. He wanted to present this flag and the certificate in honor of the ribbon cutting and groundbreaking of this new Justice Center. Thank you.
Thank you. And I do need to say something from our senator, who is also in a very busy session down in Austin. And it reads as follows: in the name and by the authority of the Senate of the state of Texas, extending most sincere congratulations, I proudly present this certificate to the new Hopkins County Law Enforcement Center courtroom, commemorating your official ribbon cutting, Bob Hall. So neither one of them could be here. They are very busy in Austin, but we're very grateful for their participation today. Now I'm going to ask that the commissioners come up, and the current commissioners that we're helping build this. This idea was conceived about a year ago, but during the rainy year we've had, it's been slower. We were hoping to be in last fall, but we're in now, and so come on up, commissioners, former commissioners. Let me briefly introduce everybody. Now y'all, let's see, are we in the proper order here? All right. Mickey Barker, our current, and was last year as well when this was started. Mickey Barker, our Commissioner Precinct 1, Greg Anglin, Precinct 2, our current, and I don't guess Michael Dell did not make it today. So then we look at Precinct 3, Wade Bartley, and he's been intricate in this all the way through, since we conceived the idea last year. Danny Evans, our former Precinct Commissioner 4, and of course Joe Price, our current Commissioner Precinct 4. This is the court that, and they, by the way, these guys that just came on, they were with us all year last year, coming to the meetings and attending, weren't getting paid anything, didn't have a position, they just came to learn. And so I commend and thank you guys for having the foresight to see this happen. So thank you to our commissioners. Leslie, are you ready to come up? Where's Leslie? There she is. And your staff and Queens, come on up.
Where do you want to take the picture?
We're so
You
glad.
want to do it right here?
Yeah, let's just do it right here.
Okay.
All right. I'd like to, Judge Northcutt and Will Ramsey to come back in, if you will, and stand here. This is the big deal. Now, don't make that. I don't want to make it that. Somebody's going to cut it. Oh, yeah. You think so? Yeah. Well, would you do the cut? Don't want to do the cutter. Come on, Judge Northcutt will do the cutting. Here we go. Come here, you're behind me. Chief Inslee, would you
While I
come
have these scissors in here, let me think about all the ways I might use them.
Sheriff, come on up. Sheriff Lewis Tatum, I forgot to introduce him, of course, so come on up. Every time that we turned around, we had some need, and I'd say, Sheriff, can you make it happen? And Chief Inslee as well, can you make it happen? And all kinds of good things have happened quickly because of these two men right here on the end that I failed to introduce earlier, but I tell you, they were very, very important to making this thing happen. So thank you. All right, Judge Northcutt.
Well, tell us about the picture you want us to.
Okay, so we're going to count to 3 and take a good picture, and then we'll get ready to cut that ribbon. So, are we ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Hey, are you ready?
Okay.
I'm ready when you're ready.
All right.
But do something fabulous, like say something great. No pressure.
4 score and 7. Here's to justice.
Yes.
There you go.
Here's Don Julian with sports.
The number 4 ranked Wildcats basketball team achieved its goal of going a perfect 10-0 in district play as they got by Lindale 52-46 Tuesday night at Lindale. It was anything but easy. Points were hard to come by, especially in the first half. The Wildcats led only 8-6 after the first quarter and 16-10 at the half. Both teams scored 36 points over the last 2 quarters, and the Wildcats had their narrow victory. Cameron Kahn led the Wildcats with 18 points. Sid Adrian Day Hall scored 15 points. Xavier Cork scored 9 points. Jeremiah Rowland had 6 points, and Deuce Berry and Boo Wilkerson both had 2 points. The perfect district mark was achieved with leading scorer Keyston Willis missing 7 district games with an ankle injury. Second leading scorer, Sadadrian Day Hall, also missed 4 district games with a concussion, and both were missing in 2 district games. The Wildcats' season record is now 24-8. The Wildcats will face John Tyler in a by-district game next Tuesday at Wills Point, with the time to be determined. Greenville Lions soccer team opened district play with an impressive 5-1 victory over the Wildcats at Gerald Prim Stadium Tuesday night. The Lions wasted no time scoring their first goal 3 minutes and 34 seconds into the first half, and Kevin Jasso scored it. Exactly 6 minutes later, the Lions' top goal scorer, Ian Miller, scored to make it 2-0. Miller scored again about 12 minutes later, and Greenville was up 3-0. In the second half, Lion Joel Salazar scored at 11:59, and then Miller got his hat-trick goal at 8:21, and the Lions went ahead 5-0. Wildcat senior Daniel Marino scored the lone Wildcats goal at 2:09, and Isaac Gutierrez got an assist. Wildcat soccer coach Alexi Upton noted that the Greenville roster included an unbelievable 16 seniors, along with just a single freshman goalkeeper. He said the Wildcats made mistakes and Greenville capitalized on those miscues. Wildcats 0-1 in district play and 5-6-2 for the season. And the Wildcats will play Lindale Friday night at 7 p.m. at Gerald Prim Stadium. The Lady Cats soccer team opened district play with a 3-0 loss against the Greenville Lady Lions in Greenville on Tuesday night. Match was scoreless in the first half, but then the Lady Lions scored 3 unanswered goals in the second half. The Lady Cats slipped to 0-1 in district play. Their season record is 1-11-3. Lady Cats will hope for a much better result when they play Lindale Friday at 7 p.m. And since Lindale's field is being renovated, the Lady Cats and Lady Eagles match will be played at the Pat Hartley Complex at Tyler Junior College. Lady Cat sophomore golfer Miriam Tran took first place at a tournament at the Van Zant Country Club on Tuesday. Tran shot an 80, and Lady Cats coach Whitney Spigner said the round included an eagle that Tran made when her 68-yard shot to the green went in the hole. Coach Spigner said it was Tran's first eagle in competition. Lady Cat Charlie Potts shot 112 to finish in 11th place. Coach Spigner said the Lady Cats battled high winds and cold temperatures. The Lady Cats play next on Monday and Tuesday in a regional site preview at Rockwall Golf and Athletic Club. Well, the first playoff game for the number 20 ranked Saltillo Lady Lions has been firmed up after getting a bye in by-district action due to being a district champion. The Lady Lions now face Bryson Thursday at 6 p.m. at Tioga High School in an area round game. Meanwhile, the Saltillo Lions picked up a district win Tuesday against Union Hill, 48-40. The Lions got off to a good start, leading 11-3 after the first quarter and then 27-15 at the half. Union Hill rallied in the third quarter and trailed only 33-32 after 3 periods. The Lions had a big fourth quarter, outscoring Union Hill 15-8 to secure the 8-point win. Chris Bokhorst led the Lions with 25 points. Andrew Redburn scored 11 points. Eddie Oleo had 6 points. Ben Moore 5 points, and Levi Hoover added 1 point. The Lions are 9-1 in district play and 24-8 for the season, and they play Avenger Friday at 6 p.m. at Pittsburgh High School.
Thanks for watching Channel 18 News. Have a great evening.
Street. Well, we're coming in just about a minute earlier than we said we would. 8:15 is the usual time for our morning show interviews here on KSST. We don't have an interview today, but we want to share with you some of these wonderful nomination letters that we've received about nice people in our community. We are open to taking nominations by phone. If you call during the morning show and ask for me, I'll be glad to jot down the thoughts that you have about someone special. Or you can send them in to us on email at ksst1230@gmail.com. And that gets to us immediately, and we print them off, and then we put them in the stack to be considered. So we've got about 4 or 5 letters to read this morning, and they're not very long, but it does really show and exemplify what we already know about Hopkins County, one of the nicest places in the whole wide world to live. Now, this one is about a couple, and actually they were winners last year, so we're just going to read their letter, and they're not in the running for winning again this year. Oh, and winning would be the dinner for 2 with 2 free desserts from Bodacious Barbecue. Bodaciously good. Okay, Stacy Pullen and her husband were nominated. Stacy works at Wesley House and is most courteous and very efficient in her job, and very, very nice. So Stacy Pullen and her husband, Steve, also, he was nominated. He drives a Trax bus and is wonderfully helpful to people, too. They especially love elderly and senior citizen, active and not so active people that they come across in their work. So Stacy Pullen at Wesley House and her husband, Steve Pullen, who drives a Trax bus. And they were nominated by a couple of newlyweds, Betty Latham and George Latham. So thank you for your nomination letter. And we will have our winners to announce here in just a bit, but we're still reading nomination letters. And this one does not surprise me. Vender Wright has been nominated in the Nice People Awards. She's always doing something for somebody, and this is the truth about Vender Wright. She helps with churches, individuals in the community. If somebody needs her help that she even hears about, then she's up for doing whatever she can. She cooks all the time. She really, truly listens when you talk to her or need a friend to talk to. And she's a real friend with 2 helping hands, and that's Vender Wright. She's been nominated by Ayanna Thomas by phone the other morning, and we wrote down that from that phone call. And you can do the same thing if you've got someone nice to nominate. Oh, I'll give you the phone number, 885-6060 here at KSST. Here's another nomination, Stephanie Pryor. This person says, I would like to nominate Stephanie Pryor in your drawing for the free meal at Bodacious Barbecue. I met Stephanie at Christus Mother Frances Hospital in Sulphur Springs. She is such a nice, helpful person, the most friendly personality that just makes you feel better coming out to the hospital. And I hope she wins this because she's deserving and would appreciate the gift. And that's from Francesca Wright, who sent us in on email about Stephanie Pryor as a candidate for the Nice People Awards. Now let's go to another one. This one is from Bryant Bulkley. And Bryant Bulkley has nominated his mom. Yep. Linda Bulkley as the nice person. When I think of a nice person who shows love and kindness to anyone and everyone she comes in contact with, I think of Mama, he says. I hope my children love others like she has loved others. How nice. Bryant Bulkley, that's a beautiful testimony about your mom. Linda Bulkley has been nominated for the Nice People Awards. And let's see who else we have here. We have another one, Georgia Camper. Georgia Camper is a good neighbor, friendly with everybody, visits people and church members. She is a devoted Christian and a good friend to a lot of people. So Georgia Camper, who is a friend of mine too, she is a nice person. And this comes from an anonymous neighbor. So Georgia may know who her anonymous neighbor is that nominated her for the Nice People Awards. But now we're going to get to our winner. Our today's winner has already been read this morning at about 7:25, but we'll want to read this again. It's a testimony about Hillis Bass. Hillis Bass was nominated by Karen Weatherman, who knows all the nice people in town. But here's the letter for Hillis. Hillis is the nicest, loving, and generous person that I know. She's always doing something for someone else. She puts others before herself. And to just kind of detail some of these things, she teaches knitting and crocheting to seniors or others. She makes blankets, hats, scarves, and booties for babies, for senior shut-ins, for people on hospice, and for cancer patients. So on this knitting and crocheting, one more thing that Hillis is doing that is not really put here in detail, there is a program that's going on through the Shawls for Love group, which Hillis is helping to head up. And they're not only crocheting and knitting shawls, but right now they're doing little caps for babies, and they're doing these in red, I believe, and they're donating them to Christus Mother Frances Hospital system, because they want February to be the month that all this love is shown to the newest babies that are born in all the units of Christus Mother Frances hospitals. And they've got a few dozen already crocheted and made right here from the Shawls of Love in Sulphur Springs. So this act of love goes out for the hope for these little babies to live a heart-healthy life, for their moms to live a heart-healthy life and raise them in that way. So that's just an extra little something that Hillis she probably got that connection made for our local group. And a little bit more on Hillis Bass. She invites people to her home for Thanksgiving lunch and on Christmas Day, when she knows that they do not have family to spend the holidays with. She makes sure they're not lonely on those special days. Hillis is always looking for ways to show people they're loved and cared for, whether it be from a pat on the shoulder, helping hand in this way or that way, a good friend to listen and talk with, just with her generous, beautiful smile. And this letter wraps up by saying, I can't think of a more deserving person to be recognized on a day of love than Hillis Bass. She shows love, L-O-V-E, in capital letters to others every day. And Karen Weatherman sent that letter, and so we thought it appropriate that Hillis Bass win the prize today. And that is the meal for two with free desserts from Bodacious Barbecue, as a thank you to all the good works that you do through the year. And here's yesterday's winners. It's a couple. There was just one prize, but a couple won it. Randy and Tracy Rowan, who extended a helping hand to local farming family over a period of pretty bad weather. Thank you for listening, and thank you especially for sending in your nominations, whether it be by phone this morning at 885-6060 to nominate a nice person or a couple, or whether you send it by email to ksst1230@gmail.com, and get those in ASAP so we can consider them for tomorrow's final award of the Nice People Awards from Bodacious Barbecue here on KSST.